What's up, everybody? My name is Dell. This is Dell on Movies. Thanks for hanging out with me. And if you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. We are back at it for the second time this week. Another episode of Movie Swap. And tonight's guest is a couple, a pair that lots of us have come to love. We love their live streams on their own channel, and they have lots of great guests there. And like the rest of us, they are just fans of something. And they are, of course, Eddie and Hailey. What's going on, guys?
Boom! Hi. What's up, man?
What's up? So we were talking a little bit backstage, and I said I was going to bring it up. So let's just go ahead and start right there. You guys just saw Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for the first time. I know you told me how you felt about it, but go ahead and tell anybody who's listening.
So we can lose everybody right out of the gate.
Yeah, downvote.
You never know. You never know.
So we'll give a little backstory here that we didn't even give you, but
okay.
We are doing 31 days of spooky videos. So a video a day for the next 31 days. And in that 31 days, we want to do a Rob Zombie ranking. We want to rank his films. Her and I, we're
big Rob Zombie fans.
We really enjoy his stuff, which is a hot take right there. But we haven't seen every single Rob Zombie film, so we're kind of making it a point to, right before we want to, because we've done a couple of these rankings where we haven't seen everything, and we've been called out for it. Like, people have said, usually when you do a ranking, you should see everything in that ranking before you rank it.
Or at least most of it.
So we're listening to the crowds, and we're watching all of his films, and collectively we both hadn't seen Halloween 2, so we watched it literally just about maybe
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago prior to this, because we timed it like that. And then but yeah, the super of hot takes that I was telling Dell, everybody, is I think this might be my favorite Halloween movie in the franchise. That's correct, even over John Carpenter's original.
Out of all of them, all 20 million of them.
Yeah.
It's his favorite.
I don't know. I have to think on it. But just out of the gate, just, kind of turning the movie off, and I don't understand the hate for this movie, like, at all. But
okay,
that's that.
Now, Hailey, you were saying you hadn't seen all the Halloween movies.
I have not.
Is it your favorite of the ones you've seen?
It is no, I still enjoy the original. Maybe it's because of how many times I've seen it. There's a nostalgia factor to it for me.
Yeah.
But I did this one probably ranks second or third. I might have to reconsider Halloween 2018. But I mean, another hot take is we actually enjoy Halloween Ends.
Yeah. So I mean, but we do agree on the Blu-ray for Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Like the quote at the bottom is one of the most original and shocking entries in the series, and we agree with the original part, at least.
Oh,
it's super original. So
I'll agree with that. I am one who hates Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. To give my full thoughts, here's a plug. I did a Halloween franchise ranking last year because I had only seen about half of the movies myself. So I watched them all last year and did a Halloween ranking video. So you can get my full thoughts on that if you watch that.
Nice.
But my hot take on the other end is that Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie is my favorite in the franchise. To spoil my own video, but that is my favorite of the franchise. So we're not. I'm not terribly down on Rob Zombie. Just I like one much better than the other one.
Well, hey, I mean, I'll take that,
wow.
I will take that. I thought you were just going to be like both of his movies.
No, not at all. A lot of people are down on the first Halloween movie because, you tell too much about Michael Myers and we don't need all that. I disagree. I'm like, that was good the way he did it. So
yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, because I've never been emotionally attached to this franchise. I don't eat, sleep, breathe Myers. So
we're not purists.
I don't mind getting rid of that original intent of the character, like that original, he's like he has like a supernatural kind of edge to him kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Just making him a regular kid kind of thing. I think that it works, for Rob Zombie. And a lot of people don't like that but it is what it is. Do you not like 2 because of the main thing, the white horse? Is that why you don't like it?
That was one of the things.
Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't all gel for me. It didn't all come together for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
All the different little aspects of there were things that I liked about it, but just all as a whole, it just didn't quite come together.
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Now, you guys mentioned ranking videos and doing. I mean, I'll raise my hand. I did call you out a little bit on the MCU ranking video that you did. But I did watch earlier today. You did a ranking of the top 200 Rotten Tomatoes horror movies,
But
now,
not all of them.
right. I was going to say, you did preface it by saying there was about 50 that you guys had seen
Yes.
all together. And I was cool with that because you prefaced it first. And then so we didn't get a lot of wading through movies and going, oh, haven't seen that one, haven't seen that one, haven't seen that one.
Yes.
So
yeah.
That was, I really like the way you did that. But now I'm going to talk about two movies on that list. One movie, I'm going to ask you to convince me of a movie. Maybe not convince me, but give me the opposite end on really both of these movies. But the first one that you guys have in that, I think it was in the top tier, was the Blair Witch Project. I am on record as saying I loathe that movie.
Okay.
And now going with some of your other criticisms from some of the movies at the bottom tier about how it's so slow, that's where I am with Blair Witch a lot of times. So what is it about that movie that you guys love?
Maybe because just off the top of my head, the slowness of it, and maybe like it sort of works in favor with the sort of subgenre of the found footage, so it feels more personable, like you're actually there, versus like a slow burn in a more theatrical-esque movie is like you're just sitting back in the audience, like it's very like, come on, like, you understand what I'm trying to get at? Like, it's more personable. Like, you spend more time with these characters that you actually start to fear more.
Yeah, and I think the characters are annoying 100%, but I think that in a way they're supposed to be. Like, I don't know that I would want the characters to be any other way. I kind of want them to be how they are. And
reckless kids.
And I just find it terrifying. Like, I don't know. It's just something about that movie is like if you watch it on a VHS, you got me a VHS not that long ago of the Blair Witch Project. I haven't watched it yet, but I can imagine on VHS it looks even better. It's just, I don't know. I love the not showing anything of the movie kind of thing. I like the playing so I can make it up in my mind. Yeah, I mean, but you can't convert anybody. It's just sort of like maybe 5 years from now when you're at a different time in your life, you'll rewatch it and you'll go, actually, you know what? I kind of dig that now, because I've done that a bunch of times where
yes, I've done that too. Yeah,
we've all done it. Yeah, where you felt a way about that movie and then you watch it, from years removed, and it's like a 180 and it's weird, but I don't know.
Well, I know I have like more of a sort of personal connection to something like that because I grew up in the North, and I mean, hiking through the woods was just, what kids did for fun. So, and I also, being like having a fantastical mind, you think like, what if there's something out there? And then you and your friends start to like conjure up something scary that creeps you out of the woods. So being put like somebody living your worst nightmare of going to the woods and finding something.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so now to the bottom tier, a movie that I love that you guys just both were like, "Oh no, this is terrible." Or suck farts was the category that the tier that it wound up on.
Sucks farts. That's right. Yeah, I think you came up with that. She came up with the sucks farts.
I'll own it.
And so, what don't you like about Drag Me to Hell?
Drag Me to Hell. I don't like how. I just don't like. I've come to the realization I don't like Sam Raimi horror, and I don't appreciate the real comedic parts of that film. To me, it's just a little too jokey, and some of the worst CGI. I think that's something that stood out to us like really bad. It was
it reeks of 2007, right? That's when it came out, 2007.
Something like that.
Something like that.
And I wanted to love it because it's got Justin Long, a scream king in the genre, but I don't know, just I couldn't get on board with it. There's some creepy moments in it for sure, like that whole bank scene with the old lady.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
That's kind of jarring, like, with like the sounds and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, there's moments of it that are good, but overall, I feel like I don't know. Maybe the characters were like the main girl was a little too unlikable for me. Like she was a little too annoying.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, we got some technical difficulties going on. All right. So while they get that together, I'm gonna check in and see who's hanging out there. They're back. They're back. Were you finished with your points on Drag Me to Hell? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
There we go. Now you're good.
There we go.
Dude, I'm telling you, this service is like haunted. It's turning.
Whenever I speak,
because we're not touching anything, and it just turns everything off. It like switches stuff.
You're the first guest that's had this problem, so that's crazy.
I'm telling you.
All right. So let's go ahead and check in with the chat, see who's hanging out with us this evening, and we're gonna start with Mr. Corey of Wookiees Movies and Music. He says, "Hey all." Corey just started a YouTube channel a few days ago. Put up his first video. So, and it's a good intro video. I'm looking forward to everything that he puts out on his channel. So yeah, go give him a sub, check him out, and I'm like I said, looking forward to what he's got for us.
Movies and music.
Yeah. Horror and More is here. What's going on? Hey all, here to support the buzz and check out Movie Swap for the first time. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And the fans are bringing me fans. I like it.
We love to see it.
Oh, yeah. And he says, Rob Zombie's Halloween is great. Part 2 is a dumpster fire. So he's with me on that.
Nadia, I don't know. Lately, you and I have just, because she's been she writes her reviews on Letterboxd, and she did not like Creep 2. I adore Creep 2.
Best movie.
What did she like that I didn't like? Saw X. She loves Saw X.
Oh, well, that's your own thing.
I don't like Saw X. I don't know, Nadia. I don't know about this.
And I apologize because I said he. But I haven't seen Creep 2 yet or Saw X. Creep is great, the first one. So I still need to see Creep 2.
You have to see Creep 2.
It's a good 1-2 punch.
Yes.
Okay, I'll probably watch them together because it's been a few years since I saw the first one. David White, it is Arcade and Toy Channel. He says, hello, y'all. Hey, how you doing, David? Thanks for coming out. And, of course, my buddy Bob of Bob's Blu-rays, or Bobby Blues, we like to call him. He's here. Usually when I'm on, it's on Tuesday nights, and he's doing his tournaments are going on. He's got, I think he's doing horror this month, actually. He's doing a horror tournament. So I'm glad he can be here tonight. Appreciate it. But check out his tournaments. They're lots of fun. I've been on myself. Tony Basement Blues is here. He says, hi, what's going on, Tony? The View with Drew. Hey, everyone, what's going on, Drew? And Adrian James is here, of course. Adrian says, hey there, Del, Ed, and Hailey. How are you? Adam Khan. The Monkey is here. The Monkey says, greetings. I remember watching your animated Disney ranking live stream. It was wonderful. So very cool for that. I think I missed that one. I might have to go back and check that one out. And the Monkey says, Drag Me to Hell reminds me every time I try to watch Jimmy Fallon on late night.
Yeah. I like Jimmy Fallon. I don't know. I prefer some other of the dudes, but I don't know. Fallon's pretty cool. He's got a great ride at Universal. It's called Race Through New York.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know. I'll have to check that one out. I'm okay with Fallon. I'm not a huge fan of any of the late night guys now. But I'm old, so when I was young, it was Johnny Carson and then Arsenio Hall. So that's about where my late night viewing really stops for pretty much. And Horror Mars says, we agree to disagree.
Yeah, it's.
We got some people saying
Adrian.
Hi to each other. All right.
Adrian.
So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to turn the screen over to you guys for a minute. Introduce the people to the movie that you had me watch, and give a brief synopsis of that film. Thank you.
All right. So if that happens again, just I mean, obviously stick around. We'll be right back. I couldn't tell you why it's happening. We're not touching anything. So it's the power of Eve Mux.
Wanted to preface with the list by saying that since we had to choose 10 movies, I chose 5, he chose 5. Yes. Del, I'm disappointed you didn't choose one of my 5.
So, yeah, I forget some of the other movies that we sent you, but the movie that we suggested to Del among the 10 turned out to be the one that he chose was Edge of Sanity from 1989, starring Anthony Perkins. It had a pretty recent Arrow video release. So I had picked that up last year at our Barnes & Noble and kind of just sat on the shelf all year long. And then this October rolled around. I was like, you know what? Let's finally take care of this. Let's cross this one off the list. I like Anthony Perkins. He's great in Psycho 2. I mean, come on. But I wanted to see something other than Bates. So we popped it in. And we feel a certain kind of way about it. We'll get into that. But yeah, the movie, I don't know if it's going to pop up here on the screen. The movie, Edge of Sanity, 1989, the same year as Batman.
Well, say what it's about.
Oh, we have to say, oh, go ahead. You get to say what it's about.
Basically, it's what would happen if you combine Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Anthony Perkins, and crack cocaine.
Yes.
Enough said.
I see, because I didn't know about the crack cocaine part, so I just thought it was
Dr. Jekyll, Mr.
Mr. Hyde, yeah, with Anthony
like
Perkins,
modernized version of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde always a version of crack cocaine? I don't know.
I don't think so. At least I don't know.
Or at least we think it's crack cocaine. Like, that's what it looks like.
No, I'm pretty sure they actually say.
Oh, it is cocaine. Crack? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
They actually do. Because it's a medicine for, or like a something to do with anesthetic that he's working on.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that, but before we get too far from it, I'm gonna ask you, Hailey, what was the movie that was there one particular movie that you wanted me to pick?
No, I was just disappointed that it wasn't one of mine.
Okay.
I think we both collectively did now we got to talk about Edge of Sanity again.
Well, it's your fault for putting it on the list.
Well, it's because I wanted to do ones we watched recently. You know what I mean? Because those are the freshest in your mind kind of thing. You want to be able to have a lot of points to talk about tonight. You don't want to be like, oh, yeah, I watched that a few years back. I don't remember.
Right.
So.
Okay.
It's also trying to pick ones out that, since you are a fan of movies, ones that you might have not seen, might have not heard of. That was also a bit of picking the brain.
Okay. All right. Yeah, most of the ones on your list I think I had seen, if I remember correctly. But that was one I had heard of years and years ago, but just never saw it until now. You talked about is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde always the crack cocaine kind of deal? More can always boil it down to the problems of drug addiction, because it's always he's working, whether it's cocaine or something different, he's always working on some potion.
Gotcha.
And that changes and alters the way he behaves.
Right.
So you can boil it down to that, or you can just boil it down to the duality of man. Either works or both works, however you want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is the only version of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde that I've ever seen. So.
Well, I think this one was, because like you said, it is a lot about potions and elixirs, but I just don't know off the top of my head if any of them actually explicitly say what kind of drug it is like this one does. That's so jarring.
I'm not sure if any of them name it, give it an explicit name. I'm not sure, but it's always, some potion. He's created some drug to do something, and it goes off the rails.
Well, that's the 80s for you, I guess.
Yeah. Before we get done with this movie, I'm gonna pull up another one from the 80s that takes a different route completely.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know it was a Jekyll and Hyde movie.
Interesting.
And I had seen I seen the silent movie Jekyll and Hyde from the 20s. I think it's 1925 or something like that. And I had seen different versions over the years. So when the movie first comes on, I'm watching the credits go by, and then it says, and Anthony Perkins as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I kind of stopped, like, oh wait, what? This is what we're doing. So that was that was cool. And then the next thing that happened is I found out very quickly that this is the horniest version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde I've ever seen. I was like,
Right.
what is happening here?
Yes. So okay. So going back to you not knowing it was Mr. Hyde and whatever Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Right.
Did you do you have the Arrow title?
No.
No?
I actually it's is it streaming or did I watch this one on YouTube? It's one or the other. I think it was YouTube. Something has a copy of it
Okay.
that somebody put up there. Pretty good copy that's playing.
Because like a dead giveaway is when you open up the case. Obviously, you know, we know that Arrow and all those boutique labels, they typically do reversible cover arts.
Right.
And this one has the, you know, they have the original poster, I guess, on the other side. And on the other side it says Anthony Perkins hasn't been feeling like himself lately, and it shows his normal self, and then it shows what I thought. And tell me if you agree. She hasn't seen Spider-Man 3. You've seen Spider-Man 3, right?
Yes.
When he becomes, who's the bad one? Mr. Hyde. When he becomes Mr. Hyde, that is literally emo Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. Look-wise.
Look-wise, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. So when I was watching it, at first because this was made in the 80s. So, you know, a lot of pop stars were kind of doing the androgynous kind of look. So I was like, I think they were going for that, but with Anthony Perkins' age, it didn't quite, you know, work out the way they wanted it to.
Exactly. Yeah. But now, and obviously Spider-Man 3 was way off from that movie, but in terms of release date. But now, because obviously I've seen Spider-Man 3 many times, when that transformation happens, I'm like, oh man, this just reminds me of Tobey Maguire.
I get it now that you say it, but yeah, my mind was like, okay, thinking about when it came out and what was happening around that time. Yeah. But yeah, now that you say it, yeah, not too dissimilar.
Yep. But yeah, so the dead giveaway is on the other side. If you had opened up the case, it's like, oh, okay, this must be a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing going on here, because it's literally two different Anthony Perkins on the other side.
Okay. No, I don't have that one. I might have to get it. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll give you our copy.
Ooh, that's a spoiler alert. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So right at the beginning, like I said, we're in there, and you know, we see him working on his stuff, and having not seen a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie, so you guys weren't sure where it was going at the beginning, right?
Well, I not having seen the movie, like any other, like I understand what the general premise, not consensus, but the general premise of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde movie must be. So I knew where it was going to eventually go. Like you, I was totally taken aback. And again, I guess it's just, I don't know, the 80s and what this was. But yeah, we were just, because we've talked about this on our channel. We do a monthly wrap up of everything we watch. Right. And we talked about this in September. And we both were like, this is just endless. Just Anthony Perkins. He becomes the guy. It's like horny moments.
It's very uncomfortable.
And then it's daytime again, and then it transitions to nighttime. He becomes Mr. Hyde. It's back to horny.
Yeah.
It's just really like seeing like the very sort of skittish, like sort of reserved, like Norman Bates version. And that's sort of like how I envision, you know, Anthony Perkins being in life, the sort of to himself, very cool, collected, not this horn dog. Like, and just something about his voice was very unsettling. It made me feel weird.
I understand. I completely understand. So that brings me back to something because you said you wanted to see him in something different than Psycho, different than Norman Bates.
Right.
Was he different than Norman Bates?
I think he was actually. I do really think he was, because you said, especially if you're just going to compare it to Psycho and not Psycho 2, which
that's sort of what I'm getting
at.
at.
Yeah. And we haven't seen 3 or 4 yet, but if you just compare it to Psycho, which is what a lot of people I found out don't go beyond Psycho. Like they're just like, I don't really want to touch Psycho 2, 3, and 4. I just want to stick with Psycho. If you compare it to that, it's a total 180 of a character. So I was happy to see that. I was like, okay, he's at least trying some new material. I was just very unpleasantly surprised with this subject matter that this whole movie turned out to be. It was very, I don't know, shallow, very shallow.
I would say it was and it wasn't. So for me, Psycho is, of course, we got the whole Oedipus complex kind of deal with Psycho, and then I also think it's a lot about sexual repression. And so for me, watching this movie, it was like almost like Norman Bates got to let his freak flag fly. So it was like it felt like the same to me. It felt like the same character, just kind of unleashed a bit. And it was like, hey, just go wild, Norman. Just do what you want to do.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's almost Psycho's 1960, so this is almost it's 1 year short of 30 years later. So
right.
Yeah. Maybe it's because it's like not him 30 years earlier that makes it sort of
yeah, he's way older. I also think, maybe the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe Dell knows, but I think, wasn't Anthony Perkins in real life, was he bisexual? Like he wasn't just a straight male, I don't think. I'm pretty sure.
From what I understand, he wasn't straight, but I don't know of his actual preference.
Yeah. I think he was, from my research that I've done on Anthony Perkins, I think he was in real life, I think he was a pretty sexual person. I really do. I think he was, if that's true. So I think he chose this, and if he had any say in anything, I think that's maybe what it was. Maybe that's because there's even moments in this, which you'll probably touch on here, but there's moments of like him with a guy and a girl.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know, like that was in the back of my head too. I'm like, I wonder if he had any say in any of this, because I think he was bisexual in real life. So
we get a lot going on here. We get that aspect of it, and you get some BDSM going on. Possibly cuckolding, possibly maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot happening, and yeah, like you said, every time it goes to nighttime and he's taking his elixir and he's out on the town, and it was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do now, and it's some other, I guess almost a fetish, some other fetish that we're exploring at that point.
Yeah.
And as the movie goes on, like just from a surface level on the story, I was a little disappointed with the police, because I'm like, okay, I get it that in his normal day to day, he's known to be limping around,
right?
But he appears to be like the town doctor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the very first victim, they're like, oh, how clean and surgical the cuts on this. And we never asked the town doctor any questions.
Right.
Where were you?
It's almost like a doctor could have done this.
Yeah,
Man, I wish we had one of those.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was like, are we just gonna go on for an hour before we get to decide that maybe we should talk to this guy? So that was a weird aspect for me, at least from a writing standpoint and on a surface level. As far as the story, I don't know if you guys picked up on that or not.
Well, just speaking on that point, I don't know that we discussed that exact particular point, but we did discuss how just back in, because when does this movie take place? Do we know a time period?
I want to say 19th century, I believe.
Okay. So we were just, I mean, there's so many movies that that we've watched in similar time periods, but this is like you really realize that you could do anything
Yeah.
back then.
No cameras,
And
nothing.
no cameras, no nothing. You could get away with murder, and
Yeah.
No wonder nobody knows who Jack the Ripper really is.
or how Sweeney Todd came to be. You know, like that's based on something real. So
Right.
yeah,
Not only no cameras, I mean, no fingerprinting, no DNA.
scary,
Nothing.
scary. I think that's maybe the scariest part of this film is the fact that it's in this time period where anybody can do what he's doing, and there are no leads or anything. Everybody is just running around with their heads cut off, going,
Like-
"What do we do? Like how? Like oh, it happened again."
Like, unless we see them or somebody else sees them and says something.
Scary. But
Forget
now to the flip side, now there's too much surveillance.
Yeah.
So-
You know, I'm kind of half thinking somebody's watching me now. That's not in my chat. Somebody else is watching me.
Yeah. I always feel like
Exactly.
somebody's watching me.
Great song. So going back into the movie, you mentioned Jack the Ripper, and so we're gonna get into, I guess, minor spoilers here. Every night, not only is he just doing just regularly sexual things when he goes out at night, he's also killing prostitutes. So knowing the story of Jack the Ripper, I'm like, okay, they're taking inspiration from Jack the Ripper. And then that's actually in the movie. They tied. How did you feel about them tying those two together?
It's a little too on the nose. It's like, hey audience, you see what we did here? Did you see? That's kind of funny. Like, it's just one of the other aspects that just kind of made me groan.
And you're more like that's more up your alley, like that
Yeah.
stuff. I know next to nothing about Jack the Ripper. I do know that is the name of the Spirit Halloween mascot. That guy,
That's Jack the Reaper.
well, whatever. That's about as far as my knowledge goes when it comes to this. So that might have gone over my head. The fact that they're tying this in,
Well,
kind
they
of
name
thing.
drop him.
Yeah, they did. They name dropped him, and you know, his character's name is Jack.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Mr. Hyde, he calls himself Jack Hyde. And
Jack
then,
Hyde. That's right. Yeah. Yep.
And then the newspapers start calling him Jack the Ripper towards the end of the movie. So I was like, I'm with you, Hailey. I was like, wait, we're really doing that? We're just gonna go right there, just not even play around here, not even make me guess or anything. So yeah, they went right for that. So once we did that, though, I already knew how the story was gonna wind up for the most part. I mean, yeah, it was pretty obvious. The one character I do want to talk about and see how you guys feel about is his wife.
Yeah, that poor wife. I don't know. I feel like I really like on one hand because she's constantly like interrupt like in the morning, you know, because he had that crazy night. I think it was the first night. He has I mean, every night's a crazy night for him, but he has that first crazy night, and he comes home and he's just chilling in bed, laying in bed. I think she comes in, she opens the blinds or something, and it's just like, oh, come on. Like I've never done anything similar to what this guy has done, but I've had nights where, you stay out a little late and you come home, you just want to, and back when I lived in my parents' house, they would do the same thing, man. They would do the same thing. So, on that hand, the wife is annoying, but then on the other hand, I mean, he's essentially cheating on her. He's
To say the least.
he's doing everything to this poor woman.
I feel bad because she's just like, just tell me what you're doing. And he's like, I promise I'm not doing anything. Like, I swear. Like, there goes my trust issues again.
Yeah. She figured it out really before anybody else in the movie figured out what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I'll give her that much credit.
Was she? Because I can't see her face. Was she anybody like prolific? Is she like a prolific actor?
I don't think so.
She's blonde.
Yeah, she was definitely blonde. Okay. I didn't recognize her from anything, and it could be just that that I was just not focused on her, because it's hard when Norman Bates, or not Norman Bates, but when Anthony Perkins is on screen.
Yeah,
it's kind of who you focus on.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if anybody has anything to say in the chat, and then we'll come back to it, because there is one other character for sure. Well, two other characters actually that I do want to talk about, at least briefly, or get you guys' thoughts on. The monkey, after I watched him choke Elmo, the gloves were off. Okay.
Oh, the monkey.
Love that name.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
All right, David. Hello, Horror and More. How you doing today? So he's saying, going back and forth, saying hi to each other.
I'm okay.
No, I'm okay. There you go. And sorry about your dog.
Yeah, Nadia's dog just recently passed away. So.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Nadia. And she, of course, gave a thank you. And they're just going on about the dogs here.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I love dogs. I used to have 3 dogs I really loved with all of my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, we have our first cat together.
Who's currently in baby jail.
Yeah, but now I kind of understand the connection to pets.
Okay. I'm not a pet person. I mean, I've been around pets, obviously. I know I'm a horrible pet parent, so at least I was when I was younger. So I don't want to put them through that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not just not really an animal guy. And I'm sorry if I'm skipping through a lot of these conversations, because these are conversations between you guys out in the chat. Yeah. And I'm just trying to see if anything is going back to talking about the movie. And it looks like the monkey said that, I'm assuming Anthony Perkins dated Rock Hudson.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, his widow in real life, Anthony Perkins' widow in real life, she you know how she died, right?
No, I do not.
She was on the very first plane that went into the North Tower on September 11th.
Oh, 9/11. Okay. Yep. Wow. I did not know that.
Isn't that wild?
That is.
That's nuts.
Yeah, there is. He eventually married photographer. I hope I'm going to say this right. Berenthea Berenson. That's a tongue twister right there.
That sounds like her. Yeah, that sounds like her. Yeah.
Cody is here. What's going on, Cody? So what's up, everyone? Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. Yes, I would much appreciate it if you do that. You know, it helps out the all powerful algorithm for YouTube. Mega Mike is here. Says hello, awesome people. What's going on, Mike?
Going on. If anybody, I feel like if anyone has seen Edge of Sanity, it's Cody.
Why?
Let us know if you've seen it, Cody.
It has to be Cody. I don't know, for some reason, because I feel like, you know, like the Arrow titles, I feel like those are kind of up his alley. So.
And there's a question: what movie are you guys talking about? Edge of Sanity. And Nadia answered.
There you go.
And she says, "Thank you." Says, "Oh, I have not seen that yet, but I believe it recently got a great Arrow release." Yeah, we talked a bit about that.
I'm gonna cue this for my assumption of Cody.
This is not a good news as all dogs go to heaven. That is true. That's a very
good movie.
True.
Also, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I still haven't seen that one. Cody also telling us about 9/11. All right, so doesn't look like many people have seen Edge of Sanity. So
that's the sad truth.
Yes,
not a lot of people have seen this.
So the other 2 characters that I wanted to talk about, sorry guys. One was the lady of the evening that he kind of befriends. I think her name was Suzanne, and then the other was the guy that works in the club with her, and they kind of make a throuple, if you will. At the end of the movie, what do you guys think of that whole situation? And more on Suzanne in particular, because I thought she was kind of interesting.
I'm going to be 100% frank with you right now, Del, is the fact that, because if spoilers haven't been given away in our critique of this movie yet, neither of us enjoyed this movie at all. I only put it on the list, A, because it's horror. We wanted to do horror. It was super recent. and
Something different.
Something different. Yep. And other than that, because I just want to be honest with you, I don't know who we're talking about.
Okay.
I remember the guy.
I have no clue who you're talking about right now.
He went into the I get the brothel. I guess it was a brothel.
Yeah.
And
You know who he's talking about?
I know the guy because he had like the spiky blonde hair.
Right. And the woman was the one he kept going in the back with her, and then she kind of, I guess she turned him on by the way she was talking, the way she was acting. So he kind of befriended her, and they joined forces, and that's who he had the really crazy scene with the guy and her.
Yes. Okay. Now I remember that because that scene stood out to me. Yeah, that scene stood out to me. Yeah.
He literally pummels that guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know like the ramifications or anything that I necessarily have a feeling towards.
I guess it just didn't really stand out to me in any sort of particular way.
Okay.
The whole movie, I was just kind of like,
I don't know, Cody.
do you, Cody?
I don't know. I guess everything has a fan of something, or everybody's a fan of something, right? To plug ourselves, funny, because we loved Halloween too. So there you go. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be surprised because do you like the movie overall, though?
Well, let's get to that so we can we'll move on from this movie. Let's get to my overall thoughts.
Go ahead.
On Edge of Sanity. Well, before I do, is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I just want to say that I'm happy I saw something other than Psycho with Anthony Perkins in it. That was refreshing. I enjoyed the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. I don't appreciate or like or agree with any of the direction that the movie goes in from that point on, from him becoming Mr. Hyde. I think that is such a big missed opportunity. It's not even really violent. It's very tame, in my opinion.
It's like he's trying his best, but it's like you can't do it. Like you can't be sexually aggressive. Like you're not that kind of a person. You're a tall, lanky dude.
I just think this was such a missed opportunity to have one of the great, what are they called? Heavies? Like one of the great heavies of cinema history. Like a heavy is like a villain. Like one of the great heavies.
Like who would you have rather seen play this character?
No, I would not recast. I would rewrite. I would put this back into the writer's room and be like, guys, I would take the script and do this and go, we're starting from page 1. We got to rework this whole thing. But I would keep Anthony Perkins. I think it works with, taking that whole Psycho legacy. Because by that point, 1989, did every Psycho come out, or was there one left?
Ooh, I want to say they had all come out, but if not, maybe Psycho 4 still hadn't.
That might be true. That might be the last one, like after. Yeah. So up until that point, you have, let's say, 3 Psychos. So that's a huge legacy to carry with you into your next big villain role. I don't know if he did any other villain roles, but it's such a missed opportunity of a film. And I guess like I said, it has a cult following, I guess, but we're just not in that cult.
No. Psycho 4. Let's see. Maybe not.
Did that come out before?
I'm looking, and what I typed into something, it only showed me Psycho. It didn't bring up. You know how you type in Psycho and everything Psycho comes up?
Usually pops up. Yeah.
Right, and that didn't happen. So give me 1 second.
It's not real.
I mean, it kind of might not as well be. It's a TV movie.
Yeah, Psycho 4, 1990.
Wow, 1 year later. There you go. 1 year later.
All right. So my overall thoughts in it, and it's crazy that Psycho plays so much of a role in this movie. For me, it is, like I said before, it's Norman Bates just let off his leash, and I mean, it really just goes balls to the wall. And I think was whoever the people that wrote this movie and put it together. I think that was their intention. It feels like that's their intention. It's like, you know what? There's all this, that's repressed about Norman Bates. What if it wasn't? What if we could just let it hang out and let's see what happens? Well, who do you get to do that? Let's get Norman Bates. Let's get Anthony Perkins and do it. Because to Haley's point, when she asked, who would you cast? If we stick with this movie, I think it's possible you could recast someone who has a more of a sleazy image, maybe a Mickey Rourke type of character, type of person. But to your point, Eddie, it's what they were going for, and I think he works in the movie. He does do his best. I think, like Haley said, it's a little too clever, trying to be too clever by tying in Jack the Ripper, so it's really like on the nose, and it feels like a movie that doesn't have anything really to say other than to show Norman Bates acting crazy, and then have this, oh well, guess what? This guy is also this guy. So it didn't feel like it had anything to say about its own premise, which it could have, because like I said, with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you can the addiction thing, you can definitely bring up that, and you can examine duality of man and the nature of good and evil. You can do all of those things, and this doesn't want to do any of that. It just wants to say, okay, look, here he is now with a girl. Oh, here he is with a guy. Here he is being sexually aggressive with both. Here he is doing something else, and then hey, he's that guy, and that's the end of the movie. So overall, I didn't hate the movie, but it's not one I'm going to be like, you know what, I want to watch. That's not going to happen.
Is this somebody's comfort movie?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
You know what? I could honestly see that. Probably the younger you are, the more of a comfort movie it would be. And I say that because I understand how I was when I was a teenager and maybe even younger. If a movie had a lot of boobs, I was all into it. And this movie's got plenty of them.
Right.
He really just whips them out. Like,
yeah. But at this stage in my life, sure, still love boobs, but that's not enough to make a movie for me.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah, it's like we always say a lot on our channel. Like if you walk up to somebody on the street and you ask them, "What's your favorite movie of all time?" and if they were to come back to me with 1989's Edge of Sanity, I would literally go, "Really?" Really?
And then I would walk away and hope to never run into them again.
Yeah, it's like, do you have some other things that you need to tell?
There's nothing else?
Of all the movies.
Edge of Sanity. Okay.
All of them.
All right.
I can't even.
What does that say?
I would have to get off camera, but I did mention there's another movie I was going to bring up. Yes. I have it, but I forgot to pull it out, so it's like I would have to dig for it, and I don't want to do that now. But there's a movie called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde Together Again.
Ooh.
And that is a comedy. It's a straightforward comedy. Just uses Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And it's also cocaine, identified as cocaine in that movie, the drug that he takes.
Okay.
It's set modern day. So it's set in the 80s when it was made. And in this movie, it's kind of like it's a spoof, partly just straightforward comedy. And I mean, it's to the point where when he transforms into Mr. Hyde, we get a full on-screen transformation of it, but he's transformed basically into a 70s era pimp. or early 80s pimp. This is what he looks like. It's a white guy, and his hair gets this kind of perm to it. His mustache grows a little sharper, and from underneath his skin, a gold chain just pops out.
Wait,
same thing with jewelry.
What's it called again?
Jekyll and Hyde Together Again.
Jekyll. I just want to pull up an image here. Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. Here it is. Oh wow, from the year. Oh, I thought it was 92. Sorry. Let's see here. Oh my God, look at that poster. Let's see here. I guess we'll just show. Oh, here he is. Oh, geez. This is who you're talking about?
That is who I am talking about. Yes. That's his, and it is it's funny. It's also a horny movie, but not nearly as much as Edge of Sanity.
Oh wow!
It's more teen sex comedy, horny, that kind of thing.
Wow,
that is certainly an image.
Whew.
Yes. So it is in the. It's not one I'll say is a great movie. but it's a fun one that I
It's a fun one.
enjoy. Yeah,
A fun one that we wanted because we want to see all of them, but it's in the series. Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I haven't seen that. I have seen Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. If you haven't seen that, that's a great one. Are you fans of Abbott and Costello at all?
I actually, in middle school and then transitioning into high school, a buddy of mine, his name's Mason. He's not watching. Shout out to Mason, though, if he ever catches this. We were auditioning for a spin-off local competition of America's Got Talent called Kids Got Talent.
Okay.
And that's what we did. Him and I did the Abbott and Costello Who's on First sketch.
Wow.
And I forget who I was. I was the straight man guy.
So you were Abbott.
So I was Abbott. He was Costello. And I gained such an appreciation for Abbott and Costello because we had to be able to learn that, to be able to do that successfully, you have to learn the structure of that skit.
Yep.
And then you have to be able to improvise if one of the other person messes something up.
Yes.
So I gained a lot of respect for that team, like that duo. So I'm really curious to check out these Universal Monster collabs that they did.
One of the things I like to do sometime is I will just kind of go down a rabbit hole of watching people react to seeing for the first time Who's on First.
It's amazing. It's so good.
And through that, I've rediscovered one that I had forgotten about. Is I think it's 7 times 13 or 13 times 7. Either is in whichever order it is, but it equals 28.
Okay.
So if you've never seen that one, check that one out.
Yep.
It's either 13 times 7 or 7 times 13 equals 28.
They were so good. Have you seen Who's on First?
Yeah, you showed it to me. But
oh man, it's
I've seen the original, but then it was also funny seeing Jeff Dunham, the comedian with the puppets.
Yeah, with the puppet,
he did a version, like his own sort of version of it.
It's inspired so many people to do their own versions of it, but
he did it with like his computer passwords.
Yeah.
It was.
And if you've ever seen Purple Rain, Morris Day and Jerome do it with their password for what they're about to do. They're setting up thing, and they make the password what. So
I love it. It's so clever. So clever.
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, we got a few more people that have checked in, and we got some other comments.
That's Sarah, right?
That is Sarah. She says,
Hello, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing tonight? And the monkey says they should cast Charlie Sheen. Wow.
See, I could see that.
Yes. And the crazy tie-in to all of this, like the 7 degrees of separation, Kevin Bacon style.
Yeah.
So Anthony Perkins' widow was tragically killed in 9/11. Charlie Sheen starred in a movie 9/11.
True, yes. Forgot about that. So if you cast Charlie Sheen, though, it's got to be Tiger Blood era, 2.5 Men era Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Not young, fresh faced Charlie Sheen. I don't want that guy.
Nah.
Even though he's probably doing the same stuff.
Booby Fest.
Booby Fest.
Yep.
That's true.
Musical Booby Fest. Yes. Yeah. Lots of that in 80s horror for sure. Sarah, she's just saying, Del, hey, Sarah again. Nadia, sorry. YouTube, don't filter my comment. I should have said to go biddies.
Funny enough, I was going to say, wow, they actually let you send that through. That's funny.
They let you send a lot of stuff through, and then they'll come back later and get you.
Yeah.
Says, I got Boogeyman. All right, saying hi to some folks.
There we go.
And I do still watch it, and I think she's going to watch Edge of Sanity.
Ooh.
I think that's what she said. I'm addicted to America's Got Talent.
It's a good show. I used to watch it all the time, but not anymore.
And Winning, he's talking about the Tiger Blood and talking about Charlie Sheen. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to switch over to the other movie. So I'm going to mention
to the better movie. Let's just be real. The better movie.
To the better movie. And that movie, for people who are not, because I did spoil it, and you guys spoiled it on your channel also. I let it slide, and that I let it slip this time because I wanted people to know that we're going to talk Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with Sleepaway Camp, our main character is Angela right there on the front, and she is a camper at one of those, you go stay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks camps. Her and her cousin Ricky. At the beginning of the movie, we're shown that there was a boating accident, and the dad was killed. Her dad was killed, and she's going to live with her. I think it's her aunt, and we kind of go back, just flash forward to her and Ricky in camp. Ricky again is her cousin, and campers start dying. Not well at first. It's not campers; it's staff members at first, and then campers. But people are dying one by one, and we're trying to figure out who is responsible for the murder and mayhem surrounding Sleepaway Camp. This particular Sleepaway Camp, and had either of you seen this before?
No, sir. No. When you sent the list, I read them off to Hailey. She was sitting on the couch. I was like, all right, so this is what we got to pick from. Here we go. Ready? High Tension, The Car, People Under the Stairs. Fun fact, I voted for People Under the Stairs, but she had already seen it, and we wanted to both not have seen it.
Okay.
So I would have gone People Under the Stairs, but
good movie.
She immediately said, oh, Sleepaway Camp. So that's how that was chosen.
Well, because I feel like that is like one of my blind spots. Because whenever you hear 80s horror, a lot of people talk about Sleepaway Camp. And I'm like, there's like even a game inspired by it. Like, there's a lot of stuff. And I'm just like, man, I can't join the discourse.
But we would be remiss to say? I don't know. I feel like that's how you say that. We would be doing a very big disservice if you didn't also hold up that Friday the 13th box set behind you there, because that's clearly a huge inspiration for Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, look at that beast.
I'm gonna go big screen in case anybody hasn't seen it, which I think everybody has. But
still amazing though.
Straight on all the sides. Those are all the movies.
Yep. Obviously, I mean, the DNA of Friday the 13th is all over Sleepaway Camp, and I feel like that unfortunately followed it, for a little bit there.
Well, that's what we're going to be watching tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will be releasing a ranking of the franchise tomorrow.
Perfect.
So see which one is my favorite and which one is my least favorite. And I agree with you. Yes. Especially the first Friday the 13th, the fingerprints are all over Sleepaway Camp. Right. Right down to the POV shots of the killer, or from the killer's perspective.
Yes.
All throughout the movie. Slasher films for me, you go for kills, not necessarily for scares. You go to see the kills. What did you guys think of the kills?
I thought the kills were, again, something that's similar to Edge of Sanity. I thought they were kind of remarkably tame.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little lackluster.
Without jumping around, I know that there's the one where she gets it in the back.
Yeah, that one stands out to me.
The girl in the shower. You don't see anything from the front. I'm not talking about boobs. I'm just talking about like any going through her or anything. It's all implied, but then you see the camera cuts to just pulling out from behind. There's a bee kill.
Yes.
Not the bees. Not the bees.
That was kind of silly to both of us. We were just like, why aren't you just going underneath the thing and escaping? Why are you acting like you can't get out of the stall? So yeah, like the violence itself was pretty tame. And again, remarkably, because this is post Friday the 13th. And
that's pretty.
And movies at that
rough.
point were already getting progressively more over the top and violent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I always think that maybe it might be a little bit of a budget thing.
True.
Mm-hmm.
True.
With that movie, but you brought up the one in the shower, and showing as much as they did, I thought made that one might be the best kill, at least my favorite kill of them all, because you do actually get to see it happen, and you get to see some anguish, and there's that you get to see some struggle. Right? And I'm sounding like a psychopath talking about this, but
we all do.
But yeah, But and you know the knife is kind of coming down her back. What I thought they did a really good job was because we get a lot of cutaways, like you said, there's a lot of tame killings. I thought they did a really good job with the aftermath of those killings, though.
Yeah, like showing her like on the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
for
her
sure.
on the
chest
floor.
down.
The first killing when you get to see the body, you got the snake coming out of the guy's mouth.
Yeah.
In one of the early ones,
Right. I
so
thought to kind of counter that, I thought the opening with the lake and the boat coming at the what is it, like a, I don't know if it's like a father and his kids or something.
Yeah, it's their father.
There we go. So I was like, oh, cool. This is going to be a great kill. I can't wait to see the violence. Man, you talk about just like, it just kind of just skirts over his head and then he's just floating.
yeah. True.
I was like, oh, come on.
I want to see him get chopped up in the boat.
Yeah, like I wanted to see like a dummy head. Like that's what I thought I was going to see. Like a really poorly constructed dummy head just gets smashed, and like a water, like Gallagher, like that comedian Gallagher that used to smash watermelons on stage. Yeah. That's what I thought it was going to be, just like with a head.
Was there any mystery to this movie for you guys?
Well, unfortunately, some of it got spoiled. Very partially, just because he read a claim.
I just read the Wikipedia page because normally not much is spoiled, assuming you don't go to the plot, you know.
Right.
Where it breaks it down.
But even in the just like the basic kind of info on the movie, it said that it's noted for its twist ending. So okay, I'm like, all right, well, I know there's going to be a twist, and then going into the production history of the film, which I like to do. It talked about how it was noted for being very prolific because of the fact that it features a transgender villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. So as the movie kept going, I was like, so now I know what the twist is. I know where it's gonna go.
So it's like, why won't Angela go in the water?
But we'll get to that because I have some thoughts on calling it a twist.
Okay. Now, yeah, matter of fact, I'll save that question for when you talk about it. What did you guys feel about Ricky? For me, I'll say this. For me, I think everybody needs a Ricky in their life. But what did you guys think?
Ride or die.
Again, not that I don't remember because this is super fresh, but remind me who he is because I don't know.
The cousin that every time somebody got near Angela, he was ready to fight for
her. Okay.
The one that everybody assumed was the killer. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Like not the principal, but the owner, the headmaster, if you will.
Yeah.
He was like gonna kill him.
Yeah. And
he was
nearly
like,
did.
You.
And nearly did. What did I think about him? I thought he was, I mean, we all do need someone like that in our lives. Luckily, I was never bullied in my life, so I don't, I cannot relate on that, but I would like to think there would have been someone like that in my life. I can think of my older sister, Danny. She would have been like a Ricky. So kind of looking out for you and making sure no one's messing with you.
Yeah, like I have a thing with kids in movies, like specifically horror movies. Like I either really feel for them or I can't stand them. Like one of the ones that I couldn't stand, I know that was her purpose, but Judy, like I know that was her purpose, but like just the look on her face, like I just wanted to slap her. And I know she's like probably 14 or something. I don't care. But Ricky, like he was cute. Like, I mean, him and Angela for the most part were cute. Like everybody else though, couldn't stand. Like even the counselors, like they're a bit older. I'd be a little more justified to slap them.
No, you know who I couldn't stand? And thankfully, and this is actually maybe maybe my best death in the whole movie, is the opening. I don't know what he is, like one of the food preparers.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah, I think he was the cook for the camp.
Yeah, one of the cooks. Because, okay, we both were just blown away at some of the dialogue in this movie.
Yeah.
Because
ballsy.
In today's era, you know, everything is super sensitive. So watching a movie from the 80s and there's actual dialogue of, I don't know how old this guy must be, late 40s, 50s, maybe.
Yeah.
Looking at young kids at like a summer camp and like openly like just salivating over them and saying that you're never too young.
Well, because somebody's like, chill out, dude. Like, because he said something, and one of the other guys was like, chill out, dude. Like, they're kids.
He's like, you're never too young.
Like, just straight up saying
you're just too old.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I'm going to call bad writing on this one. And the reason why is not because that's his character's purpose or anything, but because I think they were just trying to find an easy way to justify his death.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And they couldn't make it any more subtle than that.
Yeah, they just, wow.
I mean, like, they could have done, like, I thought the whole thing was a little ballsy. Like, talk about, like, all right, sure, the death scenes were a little on the tamer side, but they're, like, themes that they were going on, like, balls to the wall. Like, I mean, they could have, like, done without him saying that and, like, just left the scene with him and Angela in the pantry. Like, that enough was, like,
like, the whole time she was going, stop.
Yeah, that's what I mean by bad writing. It could have been just implied, but whoever the writers were, they didn't trust their audience enough to say, you know, I don't have to say it. They can get the vibe.
It's yeah. That's the thing. This is another. If everyone's familiar with Jeepers Creepers and the director of that movie, this is a similar situation. He is the writer-director of Jeepers Creepers, and he wrote, you know, iffy dialogue for some of the movies. Jeepers Creepers 3. The director of this movie is the writer of Sleepaway Camp. So, you know, it leaves a little to be desired. It's like
what's going on up there, buddy?
Yeah. But that doesn't mean if you write it that's how you are in real life.
But it's like, because you could write the most gruesome murder scenes ever, a la Rob Zombie or like Damien Leone. Like, I don't know if he wrote like,
and you're fine.
But I don't know. There's like certain things that people say, and it's just like, why did that cross your mind?
Man, you talk about an aftermath of a death with his like face bubbling.
Yes.
Wow, that was cool. That was cool.
Well, the thing is, there was that. Like, I think if it was just that guy, I would have left it alone. But then there's like the end with the headmaster guy. Preparing his date for the teen count. Like, because there's no way she's like of age. Because there's no way like of age. Like, you're like at least 16 or something, 17 at best, to be a camp counselor. So that's a little like, what?
Yeah, that was a little bit much, and that's that's where I wonder about the writer there, because it's like, okay, that feels like a kind of male fantasy kind of deal.
Yeah.
Where, you know, this young girl's coming on to this older guy, and then after she didn't show up, I mean, he's like scouring the camp trying to figure out where she is. It's like, dude, are you thirsty or what? What is happening here? How thirsty are you? So yeah, some of that was a little bit much for sure.
Yes, it's like, I don't know, it's just a little uncomfy.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's see. I do know that there are some comments about it. The Monkey, oh my effing god, I love that film. And also says, my favorite camping film of all time, Shore Beats Heavyweights.
Never seen Heavyweights. Don't know what that is.
I haven't either, but man, Monkey, why you just got to call out Heavyweights like that? Sleepaway Camp.
No one saw coming.
Twist no one saw coming.
Unfortunately, I did.
Now, if you had that's kind of a bit of a shame. I heard you say that on your channel the other day. That's a bit of a shame, because I think the real reason that this movie is as revered as it is because of that. And you know, it's just one of those unforgettable things. If you've saw the movie Cold, happening, and you might be able to guess it, but in the 80s you sure wouldn't have guessed it, because nobody had ever done anything like that, except Psycho. But it was we're coming back to Psycho again. But it was reversed and was an adult, wasn't a child, and it definitely wasn't out there like that.
Yeah, and that also is a little head scratch. Where are we? It's a child.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, double feature podcast. Mika usually runs this one. She says, "Hey everyone, what's going on, Mika?" They were on earlier this week. Great movie swap. We got to talk the autopsy of Jane Doe.
I love that movie.
For that one. So check out that movie swap if you have a chance. And the monkey's got lots to say. The curling iron kill is all up to interpretation, and you only see it take place in your head and what they see when they discover the body.
Yeah,
fair enough. He says, after watching that film, I never could have a banana split again. Okay. Interesting point.
I missed that part.
I'm thinking they're referring to the end. But I'm not sure. All right, yes, bad writing, agreed. Okay. And John Doe is here. What's going on, John? John Doe Juggalo. He says, "Hey everyone."
The autopsy of John Doe.
John Doe Juggalo.
Fair enough.
Half Cheetah will view.
Half Cheetah will view. That's Patrick. Patrick's got a great channel. He says, "Greetings.
My name's not Rick."
All hail IFC Midnight. They do make some good movies. And the monkey, once you see Heavyweights, you'll understand the coldest version of Ben Stiller in a kid's film. Okay. I've heard about it. People love that movie, but I haven't seen it.
Gotcha. So yeah, same.
I'll have to take your word on it. All right. So for anybody who's just joining us, the movie has been spoiled. I'm gonna put a spoiler warning on the title after we're done. Okay. So we can just go ahead and go for it. You said you wanted to talk about it being called a twist. What do you mean by that?
So
not being called a twist.
Yeah, so it's called a twist. And if you haven't seen the movie, then this is the spoiler warning. But it's revealed that Angela is the killer, but not only is she the killer, she is actually a boy.
Born male, but see, sorry, I'll let you go before I say my point.
And then that's where the movie ends. It just ends on a very bizarre, creepy. Like, I mean, that's what's left an impression in my head. So I guess congrats there.
And everybody else, yeah,
it succeeded.
Your head and everybody else's.
It succeeded with something. So it's just a slow pull out, and then it keeps cutting back and forth between showing what's her name in real life. Felicia Rose, is that it?
I'm not sure.
I feel like that's it. Felicia Rose, the actor who plays Angela. But there's like a close up on her face, and then as the camera's pulling back out again to show a male body and even like the male parts and everything. It's a very cleverly imposed image of her face on top of a guy's body.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool how they do that. But
by the way, yes, Felicia Rose is her name.
Cool. Yeah. She's big at conventions. She's always at conventions. I'm sure Cody's met her if he's still here. So calling that a twist, right? So when the movie ended, I was like, to me, that's not really a twist. Like that's like a revelation, if anything. To me, a twist is something like one of the more popular ones to save everybody, The Sixth Sense. I feel like we've all seen The Sixth Sense. And if you haven't, you know what the twist is in The Sixth Sense. That's a twist. It changes the fundamental viewing of that movie. That's a twist to me. Because now when you go back and watch The Sixth Sense, that whole movie's different. That's a twist, in my opinion. Now, going back and watching Sleepaway Camp, what difference does it make that it's a boy? To me, that's nothing. Like that's nothing. Who cares that it's a boy? I don't care that it could be a freaking squirrel doing this. That's not a twist to me. But it's like regarded as one of the all-time great twists, and it's just not a twist. It's a crazy revelation, that's for sure, but it's not a twist. So those are my thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay. Hailey, you said you had something to add to that?
Well, I was gonna say, like, I don't know how I feel about like calling it a twist, not calling it a twist. I don't know, but I do think like as much as I've been crapping on it for like all the weird child stuff, I do think that being an 80s movie, it does spark a lot of like oddly modern progressive things. Like, because it's not just the idea of like transgenderism, it's like the gender identity as a whole. And like they were essentially like forced to be something completely different than what they were born as for the sake of just because like the aunt was like, oh, we already have a boy, I don't want another one, you're gonna be this, and being forcibly raised as a girl. And you know, whether or not like, and I that's not uncommon, like that's not like it speaks a lot about gender identity. It's like, do they feel comfortable in their own skin? Like, do they have a say of how they feel? Like, and the idea that Angela doesn't speak or she's very like kept to herself, it's like you can only just think like what's going on in their brain. Like it's very, like I said, progressive. Like kudos.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of merge you two's viewpoints on it. As regarding it being a twist, I'm gonna say for the era that it came out, it's a twist because expectations were so subverted that it was something nobody could have saw coming. So it twist in that sense. Yes, a revelation. I understand totally where you're coming from. Um, but at that point in cinematic history, it was like, okay, it's Angela, it's Angela, it's Angela, and it's like, oh wait, it's this, and it was treated as it was treated as something that was really just out of left field, beyond the realm of possibility, even, and yet here it was. So I get it. I think I get what you're saying about it being a revelation, but going back to when it was released, it was treated as a twist and looked at as a twist because it was something that just didn't seem possible. And so to Hailey's point about it being oddly progressive, I also think that it's that's accidental and something that we can ascribe to it now. But I think at that time, I think it was, the writers like, what would be crazy? And then if it were a boy, and boom, and that's it. And I think all the other things just kind of accidentally, as time has gone on and as our values have gone on and our thoughts on gender identity have changed over the years, then we can go, oh man, well, this movie says it has statements about, this and that and the other. Whereas I don't think the writer was really trying to be that deep. Mm-hmm. But it just kind of worked out that way. And sometimes that happens in art where you're trying to do one thing and something else happens to either add depth or even take away depth from whatever it is that you put out in the world.
AKA Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. That it's just that's just accidental. It is them, that guy. I don't know what his name is, the writer director, but just being like, hey, what's a cool thing that I don't think anyone's seen yet? To me, a twist would have been if at the end it's revealed that she's a Martian. Like that's a twist, you know what I mean? Like that changes some stuff because then it goes like, oh, okay, so maybe they're down here exploring humanity or something, whatever. That's a twist to me. Again,
maybe like now, they were like a Bonnie and Clyde type thing, like her and her cousin.
See, because I honestly thought that maybe that's where it was going to go.
I thought so too.
I thought maybe because they kind of look alike
a little bit
in some weird ways. So I thought maybe that's what it was going to be, some weird kind of them switching roles somehow. Now that's a twist. But just making her his gender switch, that's, to me, that doesn't change. If I go back and watch Sleepaway Camp now, nothing changes for me in my viewing of it. It's just, okay, it's a boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's also, I think, a product of, you know, where we are now as opposed to where we were then.
That's
You
what I was
know,
gonna say.
back then, you know, it was really, there were really people like, oh my God, can you believe that that was really a boy, and you know, what a shame, and that kind of thing.
True. Yeah.
And you know, now, you know, it's so much more prevalent in society. Not that it wasn't happening then, but there weren't trans people then, but they weren't on TV.
It's just it's so more accepted now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just a, you know, an evolution of society kind of makes it a little less shocking.
Jarring.
But
Yeah.
how stuff gets critically reappraised, I think it would be nice if we could, I don't know, maybe just reappraise that and not call it one of the greatest twists of all time. One of the greatest revelations of all time. Yes, one of the greatest, just boom. You know what I mean? Boom kind of thing.
Right.
But to call
Right.
that a twist, no. The Sixth Sense is one of the greatest twists of all time. That's a damn twist right there. So, but I'm curious how the chat, and if anyone watches on the replay and comments, I'm curious how they feel about it.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell us how you feel about this. I know I saw at least one comment about it already, and we'll see.
Twist.
The monkey earlier said no. The cook offered Angela a
Oh.
banana split. I forgot about that. Okay, I
Can't
totally
get
forgot what he offered her because, you know, like Hailey, I was probably too busy cringing.
Stop.
Sleepaway Camp, yes. Here's Patrick. The Crying Game was a twist.
Is that a movie? I've never heard of it.
Yes, The Crying Game is a movie.
Okay.
And I'll not spoil it. I've not seen this movie, but I've had the twist spoiled for me, so I've never bothered watching it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I was told I should anyway, so I might do that. It's not a horror movie though. It's a I want to say it's a drama thriller. I think it's a thriller.
Gotcha.
The monkey, Ricky didn't know Angela was really Peter because when he was brought to live with the mother, he being present to see Peter, he only knew Peter as Angela.
I'm confused.
Who's on first?
Yeah, really. I think what the monkey's saying though is that Ricky didn't know, the cousin didn't know that Angela was a boy. I think that's what he's saying. And I would say that's irrelevant because the movie never bothers to explore that.
I did find, like, because those are flashbacks, I assume, or those are like maybe memories, suppressed memories that we're seeing as the audience, something like that. I found, I don't know, that mother, like going like or whatever that is, like the mother figure aunt. Yeah, that's
a character.
That is a bizarre acting.
Yes, very bizarre. And having seen the movie, knowing the twist or reveal or whatever you want to call it, her every time they flash back to her, she's giving the movie away.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Bad writing.
Yes, very much so. Nadia, I think the bigger twist is that she was actually the killer. The gender swap was just added.
Okay, but I mean, look, I know we like to say that, oh, audiences back in the day, man, they had the IQ of a nickel.
No, yes, people say it, but no, not true.
But that is so not true. Everyone was still as smart as today. Let me just tell you. Come on. If you actually ended the movie and you were surprised Angela was killing people, you have the IQ of a nickel. It is. Who else is doing it?
Well,
it's
maybe
so
Ricky,
obvious to me.
Ricky.
It is. Oh my God. It couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah, the problem with Ricky is the movie kept trying to set you up so bad for Ricky, it became so obvious that it wasn't him.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just a big red herring. It's like the movie it's Ricky. No, it's Angela. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, it was not really a big shock though, but yeah.
100%.
Laren is here. What's going on, Laren? And Hailey.
Love that guy.
Yep. Laren saying hi to some folks, and they're saying hi back to Laren.
Karen.
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 I'm gonna assume that's an autocorrect kind of thing.
Maybe, yeah.
No,
maybe.
we're it.
And there's the correction.
The damage is done. He's Karen now.
You can't go back.
He's Karen.
And Patrick says it's a political thriller, talking about the Crying Game, I'm assuming.
Okay. Gotcha.
Interesting.
And everyone understood Star Wars from the beginning, so the audiences were smart even then. Is Star Wars a proof that people were smart, though? I mean, I guess I don't know. I saw Star Wars. I don't know if that's you understood Star Wars, so you're smart. I don't know. Maybe not. He says, "See, I'm not the only one to do an embarrassing typo." Yeah, lots of us do that. It's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and give you guys overall thoughts on the movie. How much you liked it, disliked it, or anything in between. And it's all yours.
So I will say I thoroughly enjoyed this more than Edge of Sanity.
I can agree.
If you presented me one to rewatch, I'll take Sleepaway Camp. I appreciate some of the subject matter that they were going for, particularly the ending there, like we have been talking about here. Cool. Bad writing in a lot of aspects. Bizarre performances, particularly the aunt. A little too much of the DNA of Friday the 13th, but that's anything. Something's popular, you're going to get 20 ripoffs. This has spawned a franchise, which it blows my mind. However, the one I am maybe potentially interested in checking out, I think, is the fourth one, because it retcons 2 and 3, and which had different directors and everything. It brings back the original director and writer for that movie, and it brings back Felicia Rose as Angela. And I think she was recast in the other two. So that's the only one that if I were to continue with this franchise, I might check that one out. I think it's called Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Were they theatrical releases? Or?
I think a lot of these were like direct to DVD and stuff like that, unfortunately. But yeah, it was. I didn't like it on my Letterboxd, and I'm not going to buy this on physical. It's pretty much a one-time watch for me. But those are the thoughts for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad that I saw it, like that I could check it off my list. Yeah. It's definitely like a key point in horror history, like again for like its ending and stuff. But yeah, it's not entirely original, a la Friday the 13th. And I mean, there's other camp slashers out there, like not Camp B, but like slashers that takes place at a summer camp. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think it's important. Like it's influential, but I also didn't like it on my Letterboxd. It was a little too icky for me. A little too uncomfy of a watch. Like I also can't see myself popping this one back in for like it being a comfort movie. This makes me feel nauseous at some points.
And just a thing, it didn't hook me. It did not hook me. And this is something I talk about a lot when we talk about movies. It's called the hook. So like an example, Joker 2019, when that movie starts, that's to me, that's an instant hook. That slow pan in on Joaquin Phoenix putting on his makeup. I'm hooked. Instantly hooked for the rest of the movie. So many other movies I could give examples for the hook. To me, Sleepaway Camp didn't hook me. There was nothing about it. I didn't care about the characters ultimately. Nothing hooked me.
Well, you were talking about The Sixth Sense a lot. Do you remember when that one hooked you?
The Sixth Sense, it's a little later on in the movie. It's not right out of the gate. Joker is right out of the gate. A lot of movies are like The Matrix, right out of the gate with the opening titles. You're hooked. How could you not be? So, but that's something I like to talk about a lot and ask people, what's like a hook in a movie that just gets you right away? But if I walked up to someone on the street and said, what's your favorite movie? And they said Sleepaway Camp, I wouldn't go, really? I'd go, okay, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, like this one I can understand. Yeah. I can't understand Edge of Sanity. So
yeah, no. I guess overall, like I appreciate it, but I'm not in love with it or anything.
All right.
But I'm glad that I watched it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those movies that it's going to keep coming up. That people's going to tell you how great it is, or not, or whatever they think about it. But now you can join the discourse whenever people are talking about it.
Exactly.
But now in the back of my head, I'm thinking, man, what if we watched The People Under the Stairs and that became like one of my all-time favorite movies?
Well, then you can watch that one.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you can still watch it.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have watched Sleepaway Camp if it wasn't for this movie swap.
Yeah.
There you go. And, or if you want to save it, we can do People Under the Stairs on another movie swap.
There we go.
The original director is Robert Hiltzik. I was looking it up while you guys were talking.
Okay.
Does he have any felonies?
The only two movies he directed were Sleepaway Camp and Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Interesting.
Prolific. What a guy.
And that was 2008, so they're pretty far apart.
Yeah. And wow. Felicia Rose is probably how she looks now, and I mean, she looks still pretty good.
She looks good.
What there's some I think some plastic surgery that's gone on. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in a while, so I might just look up a picture of her or something, see what she looks like.
But I think this was her debut, and I think she.
Sure.
I think this is what, like, if you go to a convention and meet her, this is still like majority of what is going to be on her table, like photos and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine peeking on your debut?
Peeking.
Not only peeking on your debut, but peeking at what? 15?
12?
Yeah.
12, or however old she was.
That's like both. Well, that's like also Edward Furlong, with John Connor. He peaked.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she didn't go that route though after her
no
success. So thank goodness for that.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I'm gonna turn it back over to you so you can now plug the Fans of Something or anything else you guys have going on, and just have at it. Let us know.
Oh God, quick, the Fans of Something leak is happening. Plug it. So Del, thank you. It was an honor to have you on our channel for Fans of Something Live, and it has been an honor to be on Movie Swap here on your channel.
The legendary Movie Swap.
We apologize. I don't know why. Those technical difficulties that happened at the beginning.
Yeah, what happened?
Thankfully, they subsided. So that's good. Thank you, gods of Eve Mux. So other than that, yeah, Fans of Something, YouTube. We don't have
Days of Spooky.
We don't have like a Fans of Something social media. We have our own, but yeah, we're doing 31 days of spooky videos. So a video every single day, spooky related.
Catch us at HHN at the end of the month.
Yeah, going to Hollywood next week for Halloween Horror Nights, meeting up with Horror and More.
Oh my God, it's in less than a week.
So expect vlogs of that and stuff like that. But yeah, we love movies. Del loves movies so much that he's on them.
Yes, and he's also Del loves spookies, or what did you
Del
do?
on Spookies.
Del on Spookies.
Yeah, Del on Spookies. So thanks, man. We appreciate this.
Yeah,
thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. A little bit behind the scenes for other people. I mean, it took us a while to put this together because either you had something scheduled on a day that I had open, or vice versa. I had something on days that you had scheduled. So I thank you for sticking it out with me. And
it was perfect. It was perfect for the spooky season because I think, like you said, we were going to do this maybe August, September, something like that. So.
Oh.
Yeah. It worked out. It worked out perfectly.
Yep.
As for this channel, guys, Movie Swap is doing all spooky stuff through October. I've already mentioned before. Other than Movie Swap, tomorrow I'll be releasing my ranking of the Friday the 13th franchise. Movie Swap will be back on the 17th. I will have Caprice, aka Draculina Horror. She will be here.
There we go.
And on the 24th, Vinicio the Horror Cholo is scheduled to be here for Movie Swap. And Halloween night, I let slip last night, so just roll with it. I'm scheduled to have Big Chris of Floyd House Flicks here.
There you go.
And that's going to close out spooky season for me. I'm looking forward to all of those. I'm getting close to 400, but over the last couple of days, I've been losing subs. So I need you guys to tell your friends, come over, give me a sub, and get us to 400, just so I can give away stuff. Because when I get to 400, I'm going to do a live stream and just give away some stuff, some digital codes, maybe some physical copies. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with. And yeah, subscribe to each other down in the chat. Definitely subscribe to Fans of Something. Uh, Great channel, and I've been enjoying a lot of the 31 days content. Keep them looking forward to what you guys have coming on tomorrow, and the vlogs from Halloween Horror Night or Hollywood Horror Night. Sorry, but but I'm looking forward to it.
Have you ever been to Halloween Horror Nights?
No, I have not.
No. I'm telling you, like, I thought Halloween Horror Nights was this like universally known thing. So many people either don't know about it or they semi know about it, but they've never been.
Yeah, I know nothing about it, so
Wow.
it's just yeah. Hearing you guys talk about it was a first for me. A few more comments in the chat before we actually get out of here. The monkey says yes. You only find out Angela is in it at the very end when she takes off her mask, but I prefer 1 and 2 over 3. So I think Monkey just spoiled the whole franchise for everybody. Is what it sounds like.
Way to go, Monkey.
Yep, and there he goes. He says of part 4. Yeah. And Laren, glad I caught the end. I'll catch the replay for sure. Can't wait for the upcoming swaps. Me neither. Only problem is they're going to be over, at least the spooky ones. Nadi says this was fun. A new subby to Dell on Spookies. Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is for Dell. That's for Dell. All right. Cut it out.
All right. That is it, everybody. Again, thanks for coming out. Subscribe to Fans of Something. Subscribe to each other down in the chat. Lots of great content creators down there. Sub to me if you like what you saw here tonight, and enjoy the rest of spooky season. That's all I got for you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Keep being fans of something.